Hello, my friend. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, your host, artist for DC Comics for close to 20 years. And I think today we're going to take you through a slightly longer art lesson. People have made it clear to me that these 20-minute art lessons are cute, but they'd like something a little more extensive, and they don't mind waiting. Now, believing that that's true, taking you at your words, I am going to go ahead and show you how to draw Batman in a simple way that anyone can do. I want to make these art lessons for beginners, and people who are a little more advanced should be able to get something out of them as well. So we're going to do a full figure Batman. We've got a nice sheet of 11 by 14 paper here. That doesn't matter. You can use whatever size paper you'd like. And we are going to start out with a head. Okay, so we're going to draw a nice little oval shape. Actually, we're going to start with a circle. Okay, now the circle represents, here's the nose line, here are the eyes, right here. Okay, and this is the skull. And then we're going to work it down into kind of a light bulb shape. Alright, and because Batman has a bigger jaw, this light bulb is going to have a rather large plug-in. Okay, so there we go. There's our skull. There's our mouth. Now what we're going to do from here is we're going to find kind of a gesture line that his body will sort of rest on, and I'm going to do kind of like this. You want to think of this as kind of his spine, alright? It's going backwards. Like if this were a spine, we'd see this as his neck, and it would go back into the distance a little bit and connect right about here with the pelvis. I think we're going to draw Batman hunched forward a little bit. We want to keep our poses action-based and exciting. So let's draw a line, kind of a rough line from here to here, and this represents his shoulders. Okay, right here will be a shoulder. Right here will be a shoulder, and his chest. Right here we're going to put his back, kind of like this. I'll make adjustments as we go. All right. Now this is just, again, we're using lines and scribbles and whatever else just to kind of build a figure. We're not sure. We don't have to commit to anything just yet. We just are kind of feeling our way around. So let's draw a line here. We'll draw a line there. And then we're going to draw the legs. And we're going to have a leg that's foreshortened. Well, it's coming at you. Is that forelengthened? I don't know. All right. Like that. And then let's draw a leg that's receding into the background a little bit. And so that is going to definitely be foreshortened. All right, and then we've got the kneecap shape here, and then another kind of cylinder down like this. And this is where his foot is going to be, right about here. All right. So this is the beginning of our Batman drawing, and we've done this kind of skeleton shape. We can start filling in the arm muscles here. Okay, so we've got right up here, and then here, got a muscle that comes down there like that. And I think what we're gonna do, because it's Batman, we're gonna work his cape into the design a little bit. Okay, we definitely want to do that whenever possible. We want to have a big dynamic cape. All right. Okay, so we start erasing. Let's get rid of that line there. Let's get rid of this line here. And let's kind of think about putting a fist kind of right in here. All right, let's draw this leg receding back. I'm pretty sure already that this is going to get covered by the cape as I'm planning it. Ooh, there's a bird right outside my window. I attract God's creation whenever I draw. All right, so whenever drawing Batman, we really want to think about the cape. We want to leave room for the cape. The cape is its own kind of figure, and it's a good idea to sort of allow room for it to grow and take whatever shape we want it to take. All right. So let's work in the eyes here. And a kind of mouth. I think we're going to do some heavy shadowing here. That's the feeling I get. Ooh, I wonder if we should bring this arm up like this. Oh, we could do that. We could move this arm like this. Yeah, I think let's do that, guys. This is the great thing about penciling. You can feel free to make different decisions. I mean, we're winging this. We're working from nothing, and we're making decisions as we go. I think it would be kind of cool to have his fist up near his face. That's very heroic and dynamic. So let's make that little adjustment. Okay. Now we've got his elbow right down here. We're still keeping this arm basically in the same spot, but moving it a little bit inwards. Okay. Now, oh, already, yeah, okay, so we can build off of that cape. All right. Let's start erasing. Now you want to use your eraser to remove hard lines and just keep the indication of what was there so that you can do firmer pencils, like bolder pencils that aren't covered with scribbles. Okay, so you can see I've just sort of dabbed the paper with the eraser, and that way I will be able to see what I did and the decisions that I made without being encumbered and burdened by them. So let's just work on this face here. I'm gonna get in there and just be very light, be very delicate with your pencil. Don't press down too hard. You are still in the decision-making stage of things, and you don't want to have to put down lines that can't be changed or erased later. And listen, you may decide to do things completely different than the way I've chosen to do them here. I've already seen you guys run with, so to speak, the flash drawing that I did in my last lesson. Anyone can draw the flash, and I got a lot of different results from people, and they were very cool. It was great to see people taking liberties and making their own choices and their own decisions with things. Now, as I work on a drawing, as I develop it, I tend to make, I tend to have realizations and make changes. You know, my initial ideas don't always work out to be 100% accurate, and so as I build the drawing, I feel free to make changes along the way. And I'm sure we're going to do that here. It's just typical. It's nothing to worry about. When you're doing a drawing, you are building it out of nothing. And therefore, the only real framework that you have to go from is your imagination. And your imagination, if it's vivid, will allow you to go in different ways as you draw. It'll give you new inspirations and ways to go. So listen to your heart. Listen to your intuitions. Picture things in your mind. Think of things that you've seen and ideas that you've had, and use them. Use it all. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be different. I mean, you know, there are a lot of artists out here, I believe, who feel as though the only correct answer to any problem is something that they've seen say Jim Lee or Greg Capullo do, and this is not the case. You can come up with your own answers and your own interpretation of the way a character like Batman looks. There is no real on model. As long as somebody looks at it and says that's Batman, you've done a good job. If they look at it and say that's Catwoman, you've done a bad job. Unless you meant to draw Catwoman. Alright, so I'm going to black out this side of his face. I've already decided, I've committed to the idea that the light source will be up here. So I'm going to go ahead and make that firm decision as I go. And beginning to black things out like this also lightens your workload, because you don't have to draw all the lines and everything that would have gone in there. We've already decided that that's going to be blacked out. Let's work on his mouth. Keep your pencil sharp. I'll tell you, it's been a while since I've used a pencil like this. So definitely, I mean, I usually, like, I would go to inks. What I'm doing now is I'm showing you with a pencil what I probably would have done more with a pen. You know, I decided a few years ago that I was going to only ink my own work, and therefore doing full pencils wasn't necessary. I kind of knew where I was coming from when I put down rough pencil lines, so I could actually build a drawing with a pen rather than with a pencil, and get pretty much the same results. You know, almost even better results, because there's a certain amount of spontaneity that comes with the first pass that you do at a drawing. If you do try to, let's say you just kind of work on a drawing and you find a nice gesture, it's going to be very difficult for you to, and it's dynamic, to capture that dynamism a second time. If you were to go back and try to redraw that little sketch, capturing the same energy is almost impossible. It's very interesting. You can improve on it maybe, if you're lucky, but that's rare too. Everything should be a first pass. And that's my opinion. I mean, people might argue and say, yeah, but you can go back and improve it. Yeah, maybe. And this is part of that whole thing about, drawing being something that should be spontaneous, and shouldn't be something that you try to perfect like a single drawing. You shouldn't go back and work a drawing to death. You're not gonna learn very much from trying to perfect one single drawing, rather than trying to do better next time. So do it, get it done, and move on. And that's another reason why I don't really look back at my own work very much. We're doing it for the purposes of this channel. I would like people who follow Comic Artist Pro Secrets to have insight into the thought process that many comic book artists have as they're developing a comic. To understand what was going through my head, the circumstances behind the scenes that led to the creation of those comics, and also just what it's like day to day to be confronted with a script and to have to solve all of the problems inherent in that script. All right, so hopefully you're getting some of that off of the videos that I'm doing. So basically we're keeping our light source where it is, up here. which means the nose is casting a long shadow this way. It's connecting to a shadow here. You can build this shadow all you want. I'm going to build it all the way. I'm going to black out all of that. How do you like that? How do you like them apples? Yeah. Let's draw the other side of his face here. Well, you know, hopefully we'll have time to do many more of these kind of drawing sessions, and we can do characters, lots of different characters and lots of different poses. Alright, so we're finishing up his head right now. I'm going to take another look at it, and this would be about as, let's see, about as loose as I would do a drawing in pencil. This leaves a lot open to the inker, and God knows we don't want that, so let's get in there and do a little bit more here. A little bit more shadow work on his cowl. You see how I just kind of built that shadow up? You know, it's like you make realizations about where the bone structure is in his face and where the shadows would fall. And you go ahead and just sort of work them out. It's never like dun, 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 and you draw a shape and then color it in. Draw it, you know, like shade it out, fill it in, figure it out. Let's have this ear. What would you call these on Batman? Cast a shadow as well in the same direction as the nose. Okay. And on this side as well. We're going to draw some little pull-outs here. These are utilized to make black fade to white. So these are just in essence creating an in-between tone, a gray tone. You fatten them at the bottom there, and you pull them out and make them lighter as you go. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Maybe I should get a little closer. Is this light on? Yeah, it is. I'll turn it off. Okay. So in other words, fat, skinny. Fat, skinny. Okay, just build them out. And we call them pull-outs. I don't know what you would call them. They're not cross-hatching. It's something in between, because there's no cross, and you don't need to. It would be too much to do another layer of hatch there. But you could do some pull-outs here off of this as well. Just a few. On this side of his mask, should we? Yeah, let's do it. Let's black this out here. Alright, now, if we got really crazy, alright, and this is only for people who want to be daredevils. Well, first, hang on a second, let's do a little bit more work in here. Let's get in here and just give this chin a little bit of a beating. It's too smooth and clean right now. We know the Batman is somebody who has taken a few punches in his time. Therefore, we want his face to be a little bit weathered. More so than Superman. Superman's face is nice and clean. He's baby fresh. Bruce is less so. Okay, so we'll just put just a few lines in here to indicate some grizzle. Alright, and there we go. If we really wanted to be crazy, we would go ahead and indicate teeth. at least on this side, because the shadow is coming here. So because the shadow is falling here, the teeth are going to cast tiny little shadows on this side of the face, not that one. So just some light lines in there, like that on this side, will help create that illusion of light and shadow. And that's, I mean, that's very sophisticated. You don't have to do that. And if it comes out looking monstrous, if you can't erase them, it's tricky. All right, so let's see. Because this is all in shadow, I think what we should do, oops, I'm using, did I use, no, I never used non-photo blue on this. All right, forget that. What we're going to do is we're going to make a decision about the symbol that he's wearing, and I think it's going to be the oval. And the reason why is because I'm going to cast most of this in black, because he's so Batman-ish. All right, let's see here. I'm just gonna lightly kind of put that in, and I'm going to start making better decisions here. All right, let's see. Right in here, we're going to find that shoulder. We're going to keep Batman's shoulders wide. We're going to keep him imposing. We're going to make this a little bit bigger here. Let's do this. Bring this shoulder up a little bit. All right. As you can see, there's no reason to, just because we thought we were going to do it this way when we were building the drawing, certainly doesn't mean that we need to keep that promise. We can make any changes that we want as we go. Okay. All right, so there we go. And we know that the symbol is going to be down here. And we also know that the line is going to go kind of this way, like right down the center. All right, so we found where his pecs meet right here, and we know that we're going to draw a line there, and the bat symbol is going to be kind of based around that as well. All right, let's fix this hand here. So let's see, holding his cape. All right, let's figure out that the cape is going to meet at a point right here, and we're going to draw a line straight across like this, and I think we're going to actually draw it out like that. All right, just right off of his shoulder there, and we're going to get rid of this. We know it's there. We'll leave it there lightly. Okay, let's see on this side. Let's see, we can do absolutely anything. So if this is going to come up like this, and he's going to be holding it. He's going to be holding some of his cape in his hand. It's going to be bunched up in there. And then come down here like that. Okay. Let's lighten these lines up with our eraser. And we could do anything. Do we want to let this side of the cape breathe free, or do we want him to be holding it? Do we have enough room? These are all decisions that you need to kind of make in your head. In the meantime, let's go ahead and begin to build this shadow here. And roughly it's going to look like this. Okay, so let's get rid of this. And let's draw darkness right in here. I think what we could do is we could indicate where the cape is, even though it's in shadow. Let's kind of build where it would be. All right, I have decided I'm gonna have it like this. All right, so I'm going to draw a line straight back like this, and I'm going to draw the scallops. Like that, okay, and then I'm going to draw them here, right like that. Okay, now over here, let's go back to this side of the cape. This I don't like this because it's going to cover up this whole arm, but I'm sorry, that's what's going to happen. Scallop. You know, sometimes you want to show things and you just don't get to. Let's erase that line there. Oh, sorry, arm. You're going bye-bye. Okay. But he's got it bunched up in his fist here, so we still get to keep some knuckles, but the knuckles are covered over by folded up cape. We want to keep it clean. Clean up as we go. All right. And let's draw lines because his knuckles are causing the cape to fold and ripple, like so. Let's keep it dark up here at the knuckles and under the side, like underneath the fold that it's making, the crease. And you can vary these line weights. All right. Let's change that a little bit. And we know that his arm is still back here. This is his delt. And there we go. Just like so. Let's put a little shadow right in here underneath this muscle. All right, another line there. Now this is all going to be black. So we just fill that in. Now again, if you're working with an inker, you could just draw X's in here. I could do that for you, but it just won't look very cool when it's done. That's something that you do when you're trying to get your work done quickly, because comics are an assembly line process. You know, it goes from the editor to the writer, to the penciler, to the inker, to the colorist, and the letterer, and then off to press. So you want to kind of be quick enough to get your work in on time so that nobody else is pressed. Well, let's get this thumb in here. Nobody else is pressed and everyone can meet their deadlines, and the book can get to you guys, to the readers, as quickly as possible, right on time. Okay. This will be all shadowed in there. And why not? Let's just build this up a little bit. Muscle goes like this. And then we'll draw another just indication of this muscle here. And then we'll shadow it underneath the cape, like so. Okay? Keep it 3D. All right. Whew, still need to clean this up here, this side of him. Okay, so we know, by the way, that the shoulder is here. See, we've erased it, but we know it's there. So we know the cape is hanging over it as it comes down. So we're going to scallop these lines, like so. Okay, and feel free to pause this or rewind it or stop it, fast forward it, whatever you want to do, so that you can catch up to where I am. I'm doing this, I probably will always do these videos real time. I don't like that thing where I pause it and zoom ahead or speed up. I don't think that's helpful. If I wanted to show off, I would do that. But I'm actually trying to instruct you guys a little bit. So I'm going to always draw real time, which means these videos can be viewed over and over again at your pace until you feel you've figured it out. Let's draw some lines here. This is all covered. This is all Batman's cape here. So it's made of fabric, and we want to kind of indicate that, even though it's tightly bound to his shoulders there, it's still it's not the same material as what he's wearing on his chest or arms or legs. But we are going to put more shadow there. All right, let's see. So you can go in and render this cape more if you'd like. Sure. I would just kind of follow the lines. And we could clean this up a little bit. It doesn't bother me, but we could clean it up. Let's fatten that line a little bit. Your pencil work can be as clean or as sloppy as you'd like. See how this line, I mean, from a distance, I suppose it looks kind of clean, but an inker is just going to take that and go like that, and it's going to look like absolutely pristine and gorgeous. So you don't really need to make it all that perfect. You just need to make it good enough. Okay, so here's his rib cage here. All right, he's bent over, so we're not seeing as much of that as we would like. I have no preference actually about seeing his rib cage, but what I mean to say is where he's standing up, we would be seeing more of it. He's hunched over, and we have to remember the shadow. Okay, so we're going to be doing all of this is going to be kind of dark. Okay, so here's his other arm. We've decided that his cape is going to billow outwards here, so therefore we are going to be aware of his shoulder, but we're going to be able to, we're going to put cape over part of it, and the other part we're going to leave exposed. This is all going to be kind of dark. I want to get in there and shadow it out. With Batman, you know, the more silhouetting and the more darkness that you add to his figure, the better. Unless you're drawing a Super Friend style Batman, it's great to have as much black on him as possible. So let's go ahead and let's get rid of all of this here under the veil of shadow, under the veil of night. Okay, yeah. Ugh. All right, little eraser crumbs. As usual, please, you know, hit that when you're, if you're halfway through this and you have questions or comments, I mean, leave them in the comments section, and I do try to answer all questions that are left there. I try to answer emails too, but I'll tell you something, my email box is jacked. It is full, and it's hard to see everyone there. Ever since I started this channel, but I love the comments. All right, so got that shadowed the way that we like. What do you think about that? Let's get in here and let's decide. Now you can do this the kind of Dave Finch way. Dave has made this symbol three-dimensional, like it's actually like maybe made of plastic or something, and it's on his chest and rises above his chest. Or you can just decide that it's actually printed onto his costume. I'm gonna kind of do that it's printed on the costume, I think, just for the sake of tradition. We know that the line on his chest is right there, so we're going to start the bat head of his symbol, like so, right in between. And you can choose the bat symbol that you prefer. I'm going to do this kind of let's see, Batman Returns kind of style symbol. Let's see if that's pretty close. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. And we're going to fill in that little bat. Should work good. Again, let's do this other arm here. All right, so muscle like that, comes down, there's the wrist, up like that. Now, this arm also is going to be almost completely black, but we want it to stand out somewhat from this cape, which is also going to be black. So we're going to do some careful shadow work instead, and do our best to make this as dark as possible without actually silhouetting it completely. Okay, so there we go. Let's give him his glove here, kind of like that, and let's do those cool scallops. I like them kind of long and pointy. I know that some artists have stubbed them, made them smaller and stubby. I don't believe in that. All right, let's shadow this completely. Like so. And let's get in here and start finding out where shadow is necessary and where it might not be. Okay, so his gloves are the same color as his mask and his boots. Let's find the folds there. And like so. I'm going to delineate right there where his glove is actually three-dimensional and thicker than his actual arm, just by leaving that little line white. That's going to do that for us. Okay. And we're just building the shadow. Here's the kind of wrinkle that the glove makes. And we know that I'm going to do this too. I'm just going to put little shadows right here. And I'm gonna connect that to that. Clean up, clean up, clean up. And let's resharpen our pencil, okay? Like I said, keep your pencil sharp. Alright, so now we've got his belt, which is going to go right in here. And again, this is going to be a matter of personal choice to you, which Batman belt you prefer. He's worn several different ones. I know which one I prefer, so I'm going to be drawing that one here. And that is the kind of classic Jim Lee style Batman belt. You have a big buckle there, like this. Oops. There you go. You sharpen your pencil and you break the tip right away. And then we're going to draw the belt coming out like that. Now we've got these pouches, these famous pouches that are basically shaped like this with a little thing over it. That's basically a Batman pouch, but see, now he's hunched over, and we have to think of this in terms of 3 dimensions because we are going to see more of the top of the pouch now than we would the front of the pouch. So we're going to draw what we think the top of the pouch might look like, which is like that. And he's bent over a little bit, so I would even kind of imply that the pouch is bending and folding a little bit. Okay, like that. And we're going to then follow the contours of his body, which is going around in a circle. It's like this. So we want to actually have the pouches follow that contour. Okay, we're still only mostly seeing the top of them. And here's one that we can only see a little bit of because it's going all the way around the other side of his body. And we go on this side. Let's clean that up a little bit. You could do a little design kind of element here. Very simple. And we can get to this side and basically do the same thing. Alright, so we're drawing a nice little pouch on this side. Who knows what he keeps in there? Little flashbang smoke capsules and miniature grenades. Alright, yeah, so there we go. We've got his bat belt all put together. Utility belt. And now we're going to go and we're going to do something terrifying. We're going to do foreshortening. So how do we do foreshortening? Now foreshortening means that ordinarily a leg that is shaped kind of like this. Okay, and there's the kneecap and there's this muscle here. Alright, so this is kind of the shape of a leg. You see what I'm saying? Alright, so we want to make this coming out at us. Now the basic shape of this leg obviously is you know, kind of a canister. So the way that we're going to push this leg forward towards us is we are going to tilt that canister without changing its shape. I'm going to tilt that canister on its side a little bit, like so. And since we can see that this is kind of a ball right here, and then here's another canister right here. Alright, this is, well, we can tell that the ball is going to stay the same shape no matter which way you turn it. So that's going to stay like that. And then this canister, if it's bent, is going to be turned this way. Alright, down a little inwards. So that's kind of That's foreshortening. Now this is the same shape and length and size as this. We've just flipped it over a little bit. So bearing that in mind and knowing where the muscle groups are, all right, we are going to attempt to do this to this. And we're going to pull it out sideways here. So again, let's think of this as a canister. All right, we see this muscle in here, this muscle right in here. It's going to be back a little bit. Let's find where his, I mean, I know I'm drawing old-fashioned Batman. Should I not do that? Maybe he's not wearing Batman shorts. God, that hurts to not do that. Sorry, I'm a child of the 80s. All right, so let's just find his crotchola. And let's say it's here. All right. I'm sorry, but don't be afraid to give your superheroes shape and form in here. I know a lot of artists will just flatten that out. There's no reason to do that. It looks weird. You don't want a eunuch Batman. You want a male Batman. And he's, you know, he's got balls, and he does. I hope that doesn't demonetize this video. Okay, so we want to do that, and let's find this muscle here. And let's bring this out here. Okay. And now, okay, we got this. And let's draw this kneecap. Now, a lot of this is going to be hidden in shadow because this is almost all going to be shadowed out. All right, but I'll show you that in a minute. All right, and now this leg, same situation. It's this, but it's being pushed backwards. So it's this, and this time you are going to, well, maybe not that severely, but you're going to be pushing that can back away from us. Okay, so, and that's precisely what we're doing here. Think of this can. And we are going to push this back into the background a little bit. All right. And it's funny, it's like originally I thought this leg would be covered by cape, but it turns out no, it's not going to be. All right. So there we go. Kneecap here. Let's go ahead and draw this shin. Is there a better word for it than shin? I don't know. All right, so there's a muscle here that kind of connects downwards, like so. And then this, like that. All right, and then this, we want to kind of, okay, so I'm using kind of rounded lines, but in general, it's good to keep those lines kind of chiseled every now and then. A little bit more kind of rigid and angular. All right, so let's find his ankle. And let's put his heel kind of up in the air a little bit because he is up on his tippy toe. And we draw this boot down here. Okay. And that's kind of, all right. And let's find where his boot shape is. I think that's about right. Okay, now let's get back up here. We want to get rid of this under here with shadow. Black, black, black. The other side. Yeah, let's do this. right from here to here. All of this is going to be blacked out. And that is just, there's no choice about it. That is based on what we're doing. The decisions that we've already made. Oh, feel free to go back and change your mind. Decide to put the light source somewhere else. And we black all that out. See, now it's starting to kind of come together there. I would, let's see, I'm going to cast a shadow here, and I'm going to cast it right like so, right there. And now Andrea is looking over our shoulder. Andrea, what do you think?
It's looking great.
Good. Okay. You want to have your partner tell you that what you're doing is looking great in all things. All right. Let's get a nice line right there. And shadow this out. Again, with Batman, dark, dark, dark. Let's go under here as well. Get rid of this. I hope all of your Batmans are coming out nicely. This is fun. I mean, this is just something that you can take out to the park in a sketch pad and you know, draw this on an easel, draw it in your lap. Drawing superheroes is very relaxing, or it should be. It shouldn't be a tense experience. So we want to make sure this foot here, make sure this leg is receded far enough back. The foot is back here. Now, let's clean up. Okay, I want to make sure that foot is smaller than the foot in the foreground. Obviously. Okay. We're going to do some pull-outs here to make these heavy blacks recede into the light gray. Work on this area. I'm going to bring this down even further. All right, let's get rid of all this. Right here, let's say. And all of this shadow work is about balance. It's about doing something and taking a step back and looking at it and going, making sure that the drawing actually and the lighting actually makes some sense. So, you know, again, it's one realization on top of another. There's no paint by numbers method to this, even though you're following me along. A lot of this is just individual thought process, and you may arrive at different decisions than I have. You may decide to put your shadows in a different place. You may decide to change this arm or that arm to something else, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, you want to remain individual. You want to take risks where you can. All right, let's do this. This cape is going to be all shadowed out. They don't call him the Dark Knight for nothing. If you're actually going to pencil Batman, be prepared to go through ink or lead. You're going to go through it. He's not a happy, sunny hero like the Flash is. Okay, the hell with that for a little while. Excuse my language, good lord. We're going to do more pull-outs here. I wonder if Bob Ross ever just said to hell with that when he was working on painting a landscape. I think he probably did. I'd like to think so. Now, this boot in the foreground is going to be dark. It's going to be almost black. But we do want to show that this boot is shiny. It's kind of leathery almost. So I'm going to add a little highlight right here. Okay. Now, already, you could be finishing your figure and thinking, wow, this is cool. What kind of background? I want to put a background behind this figure. Yeah, I understand that. Luckily, I have taught you two on this site. I've offered you two perspective lessons. One about the horizon and one about one-point perspective. And really, all you need is one-point perspective to put a nice Gotham City environment around your Batman. And let's get rid of all this. I'm being generous with light here. This would really all be blackened out. All right. So, how would we put a background on this if we wanted to? I'll show you. All right, look. X, 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 X. I don't think that's helpful right now. What you would want to do is you would want to find where your horizon line is. And I think your horizon line would be right about here, okay? So you want to find your horizon line. In order to give your Batman forward thrust, I would put the vanishing point right here at this back ankle, okay? And I would go ahead and using a ruler, oh, I don't know if you saw that. All right, so here's the horizon line. All right, and there's the vanishing point. And you could go ahead and using the lesson that I gave you about 1-point perspective, you could build a grid around this character, around this figure, and begin to draw your Gotham City, your Gotham City background, okay? So there you go. Let's look at this. Completed. There's our Batman. You guys did it. Well done. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. It was kind of fun, right? Do a little Batman drawing. This is the Comic Artist Pro Secrets channel, and I'm Ethan Van Sciver at your service. Hey, if you enjoyed this, you know, why don't you leave me a comment? Why don't you subscribe and hit that bell to receive notifications for the next little drawing session. And also leave me comments below. Feel free to show me how your attempt turned out. I hope it probably turned out better than mine. I don't know. We'll see. You can also find me on Twitter at Ethan Van Sciver. Show me your results there as well. And thank you guys very much. This has been a lot of fun. My subs have gone up to almost, I think, 3,900 right now. So channel's growing really, really quickly, and I owe it all to you. So thank you very much. All right, I'll be seeing you. Bye-bye.